Sit back, let's unpack. It's MMA Shack. Today, I'm going over all the fights to make in each division. I'm going to be playing matchmaker because none of these matchmakers in the UFC are competent at all. Every division, I'm going to go over playing matchmaker. I'm going to about have 8 fights in each division. A lot of them are going to be the ranked opponents. I'm not going to pick heavyweight because heavyweight division is trash. So every division except heavyweight, let's get right into it. Flyweight division. First fight, easy. Joshua Van, Manel Cap. No brainer. Joshua Van is a champion right now. Unfortunately, he got it in an unfortunate way. With Pantoja getting injured, fluke injury in the first minute happens. Pantoja will be back. Pantoja will fight for the belt next whenever he's healed. In interim, let's do Joshua Van, Manel Cap. Manel Cap is coming off a big finish. Let's get him right there. He's been new and improved since after the Mokaev fight. He's more ferocious, more out there, more lively, always striking like crazy now. Has a step in his game since that fight. I feel like this will be a huge fight to make. Hopefully it's for March 7th. We'll see. Next fight, Steve Erceg versus Charles Johnson. I know Charles Johnson is fighting, I think it was Bruno Silva, and I think next week or this coming week or a couple weeks. Well, I feel like Bruno Silva is going to beat that guy. Charles Johnson is going to beat Bruno Silva. Next fight to make for Charles Johnson, let's just do Steve Erceg. Let's get him in there because he lost to, unfortunately, Alex Perez. So let's just get him in another easy fight. Steve Erceg is that easy fight. I got Charles Johnson beating him on that one. Next fight, Tatsuro Tara versus Kyoji. Number one contender before the Manel Cap and Pantoja. This would be next after Pantoja is healed. I feel like this would be a great fight to have between the two. Kyoji's steamrolling through these competitions. I feel like Tatsuro Tara, very skilled, very good. I feel like they'll throw lots of kicks. Tatsuro Tara will get the fight on the ground. I think Kyoji's takedown defense is actually very, very good. So we'll see where the fight goes. But I believe Kyoji could. This is a toss-up. Tatsuro Tara is very good, very underrated. So I will say this is a toss-up for me. But next, Bruno Silva versus Alan Nascimento. I think Bruno Silva is going to lose. So let's just get Alan Nascimento in there. He's not in the rankings yet. He's on a good fight win streak. Throw him in the rankings. Test him out. Let's get him in there. We need more people up and coming into the rankings. We don't need all of these. Just the number one, the ranked people are just fighting each other. Let's filter it. Okay, we need new people in there. Next, I'm going through this fast. Brandon Royale versus Tim Elliott. No brainer. This is a great fight. Brandon Royale's on a little, fight skid. Tim Elliott, he has a strong win over Kai Asakura. Let's run them. Let's throw these fights in there. Tim Elliott's good. He has he's good on the ground and good striking. Fun to watch. Brandon Royale, he's Brandon Royale, so Next. Loner versus Andre Lima. I feel like Loner is going to get destroyed against Brandon Royale. He's going to be the new Steve Erceg. I don't know why they did that fight. Well, he's going to lose, so I have Andre Lima. That's a good fight to bring up against Loner. I feel like Loner even loses to Andre Lima. We'll see where it goes. Dana White just obsessed with Cage Warriors. She's trying to make another Patty Pimblett. Even Patty Pimblett couldn't even be Patty Pimblett, bro. Bro is just shut the bed so bad. Oh my god, it was so good. I hate watching it so good. Okay, next. Alex Perez versus Ramazan Tamirov. Ramazan's a really good prospect. Really good prospect. Alex Perez, he still needs a couple fights in there. He shouldn't be fighting up the rankings. He was on a big fight skid. Let's get new blood in there. Let's test out the new waters. If he could defend his ranking against Ramazan, perfect. Okay, throw him a higher rank opponent. But right now, let's get Ramazan versus Alex Perez. This will be a fun fight to watch. Good fight to make. meaningful in the division, meaningful for the rankings. Next, obvious choice, rerun Brandon Rare versus Asu. I feel like Asu should be hopefully healed in a couple months, and then we'll run it back. That's all the fights to make in the flyweight division. We got Joshua Van versus Manel, Steve Rissick versus Joshua, Charles Johnson, Taito Tara versus Kyoji, Bruno Silva versus Alan Nascimento, Brandon Royval versus Tim Elliott, Lona versus Andre Lima, Alex Perez versus Ramazan, Brandon Moreno versus Asu. Flyweight division done. Next division, bantamweight. First fight of the night. Peter Yan versus Marab. Just run it. Just run it back. I think Marab's ready. Marab's ready to go. This would be I feel like it's just, a must right now. What's happening with there? Okay. I feel like it's a must right now. Run that back. It's okay. Marab deserves a rematch. It'll be fun. The second fight was phenomenal. I would love to see Marab get manhandled again. I would love that. Next fight, Sean O'Malley versus Omar. Straight #1 contender fight. Let's do it. This makes the most sense. Okay, we could do Peter Yan versus Marab. Peter Yan. We could also do Peter Yan versus Omar. Omar deserves it. His fight with Mario Bautista aged very well. But I would say let's just rerun Marab versus Peter Yan. Make that the trilogy. Sean O'Malley, Omar, co-main. Easy. Next. Song. Oh God, sorry about that. Song Yadong versus Mario Bautista. Great strong fight to have. Sorry, I don't know why it's all acting up. Okay. Great strong fight to have. Song Yadong, he had a great performance against Sean O'Malley. I had Song Yadong winning. I don't know how Sean O'Malley won that fight. I had Song Yadong 1 and 2. And Sean O'Malley just, the favorite, I guess, So he got the nod. Song Yadong, Mario Bautista, let's run that. That'd be a fun fight to watch. I think Mario Bautista wins this fight, but it's still, nonetheless, would be a great competitive fight to watch. Next, Corey Sandhagen versus Amian Zahabi. Amian Zahabi on a 7-fight win streak. He deserves, a big fight. Corey Sandhagen is that big fight. Let's run that. Perfect matchmaking right there. You want to award these people on big fight streaks into the upper ranks. The upper ranks should have to start defending their belts. It's just like the #1, the top 5 just fighting the top 5. You can't be like that. It just always has to be. You have to defend your belt and your ranking. Next, Figgy versus Peyton Talbot. I feel like this is a good fight to have. Figgy choked, he froze against Omar. That was like Omar just fighting shadow boxing the entire time. That was like he just didn't know what to do in that fight. He just tried not to get finished the entire time. I feel like Figgy would be a lot more violent in the Peyton Talbot fight. This would be a really good step up for Talbot. Run this fight. I like this fight. Makes the most sense for the division. On to the next. Kyler Phillips. Oh, I made this fight right when the news happened. Fareed Basharat. Unfortunately, Fareed Basharat. Okay. I'll update my graphic, but Kyler Phillips, Fareed Basharat is not, he's been unfortunately cut from the UFC. Terrible cut. He's literally, pretty sure he's still undefeated in the UFC. Am I wrong? I'm pretty sure he's still undefeated. Yeah, right? Yeah, he's undefeated in the UFC. Nonetheless, UFC matchmaking is just terrible. UFC is just terrible in general. So you know what? I can't. UFC is just terrible, bro. They have Tai Tuivasa, but they cut Fareed Basharat. Make it make sense. They like the Owen say they like the WWE level rather than skill level, I guess. I hope PFL takes over the UFC. That'll be my dream. Next, Vinicius Oliveira versus Bryce Mitchell. Great fight for both to have. Vinicius Oliveira talked a lot of shit about Omar, got what happened to him and Mario Batista. I think this is a great fight for Bryce Mitchell. And Bryce Mitchell still is still in the bantamweight division. I don't know if he's still fighting. I know he's not retired, so this is a good fight to have. Put him in the rankings. Vinicius Oliveira has to defend his rankings. Great fight to have. And last but not least, in the bantamweight division, Ronnie Barcelos versus Alexander Topuria. Throw Topuria's brother in the deep end. This would be a great fight to have. Competitive. Ronnie Barcelo on a huge fight win streak. He got flatlined by Omar, but he destroyed Pitt and Talbot and destroying a lot of fighters. Let's see Alexander Topuria. Let's see what he can do with this with Ronnie Barcelos. This would be a great fight to have. Great fight in the division. Makes sense for the rankings. Easy. That's it for the bantamweight division. We got Peter Yan versus Marab, Sean O'Malley versus Omar, Song Yadong versus Mario, Corey Sandhagen versus Hobby, Figgy versus Talbot, it's not Tyler Phillips versus Free Russia anymore. Vinicius Oliveira versus Bryce Mitchell, Ryan Barcelos versus Alexander Topuria. Makes the most sense. Let's get it going. There you go. Next to the division, featherweight. First fight to make. Volk versus Evloev. Evloev right now is facing Leon Murphy in UFC London. I have Evloev winning that. This is all. Hopefully, this does not bite me in the ass. But Volk versus Evloev is the next fight to make. Only fight makes sense after this. Next fight. Steve Erceg versus Yair. Get Yair out there. Steve Erceg, this would be perfect on the White House card. If the White House card didn't have just 6 fights, if it was an actual full card, beautiful fight right here. Steve Erceg, Yair. This makes the most sense. Steve Erceg on a big fight win streak. Award these fighters who are on big rep fight win streaks for these big fights. Yair on a losing streak. Makes sense. Next. Diego Lopez versus Leon Murphy. Leon Murphy, I have him losing against Mozart Evloev. Hopefully, it doesn't bite me in the ass again. But Leon Murphy versus Diego Lopez, that's a fight to make next. Makes the most sense in the rankings as well. Next, Arnold Allen versus Yusuf Zalal. Zalal's on a big fight win streak. He needs a big name. Arnold Allen is that big name. Arnold Allen just lost his last fight. Let's get this going. This will be a fun fight. Another addition to Yusuf Zalal's record and name. Next, Aljo versus Silva. Aljo's still above Silva in the rankings. This fight makes the most sense in rankings wise. This is a big fight too. We'll see how Silva does with Aljo's ground game. Aljo has an amazing ground game. I would say it's better than Diego Lopez's. And we'll see where this fight goes. Oh my God, don't even give me Diego Lopez in round 1 against Gene Silva. He was destroying him on the ground. Round 2, he's like, you know what? I'm not going to fight that fight. I'm just going to block my face the entire time. And he just got that fluke knockout, luckily. Bro was almost finished. I don't know why he abandoned the Gene Silva has 0 takedown defense. Easiest. Like, Aljamain will just destroy Gene Silva. Next. Pitbull versus Pat Sabatini makes the most sense for the rankings. Pitbull's in the top of the rankings. Pat Sabatini, he's on a fight win streak. I don't like Pat Sabatini, but fighters have to fight, and rankings have to be ranked. Okay, so this fight makes more sense, ranking wise. Next, David Onama versus Mario Santos. Ranking wise, this is a beautiful fight. Beautiful fight on paper as well. Great hands. Entertainment. Next, Brito versus Santos, Daniel Santos. I'm cooking with these fights. Literally cooking. Matchmakers don't even know how to even schedule a fight. There you go. These are your featherweight fights to make next in the featherweight division. On to the next. Lightweight. First fight, Ilya versus Justin. Makes the most sense. Interim champion, obviously. Next, Holloway versus Arman. I got Max beating Charles Oliver. I'm so sorry. We'll see. We'll see where the fight goes, but I got Max beating him. I'm just going to say White House, we could have Max Holloway, Arman Tsarukyan. We can even do that for the lightweight belt. If Ilya wants to vacate and fight Islam at the welterweight belt, lightweight belt, no, but Just has to be there. So it'll be like Arman versus Justin for the lightweight belt. Yeah, unfortunately. It's pretty Justin. Okay. But this fight makes sense the most. If there is no movement in the division, this fight, the division stays how it is. Max versus Arma makes the most sense. This would be the most sense for the rankings, the most sense for fighters. I want Armin to actually fight for the belt. That makes the most sense. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So, Armin, welcome to Max Holloway. Next, Renato versus Manuel Torres. I know Renato's always like, I want easy fights. Not today, buddy. Not today. You defend your ranking today. Okay. Manuel Torres, welcome into what, top 10 now? Yeah. Next, BSD versus Paddy Pimblett. I would rather have Paddy Pimblett fight at the bottom of the ranking, number 15. But you know what? We can't have that because the UFC is going to be favoritism. BSD versus Paddy makes the most sense in the rankings wise and hype wise. BSD is getting all that hype right now. Paddy wants to steal that thunder. This is the fight to make it. Next, Ruffy versus Gamrot. See, it's not that hard, matchmakers. It is not that. It's so easy making these fights. So easy, not even complicated. And they'll come up with like Loner fighting Brandon Moreno. These fights are so easy to make. It literally takes zero effort. Next, Fiziev versus Quillin Salkild. Look, that's a beautiful fight. Quillin will come into the rankings against Fiziev. Both strong, heavy on the feet. Can't ask for a bigger fight than this. Straight cooking. Dan Hooker versus Faris Young. Fuck Dan Hooker. This is the good fight to have. This is the fight I want to see. This is the fight Faris Young will batter Dan Hooker. And next, unranked fight, Matt Favola versus Nurul Aliyev. You know, this is a big fight to have. Matt Favola is still a steamroller, but he's getting steamrolled kind of right now. So Nurul Aliyev, good test for him to, upper in the unranks. Good test for him to get a fight into. That's it. These are all the fights to make in lightweight. You know, I'm missing a lot of fights here and there, but I'm only getting 8 fights. Division. It's that easy. Look at that easy, guys. Lightweight division done. Next, welterweight division. First fight: Islam versus Morales. Not no Usman. Okay, you could make an argument for Gary. You could make that argument, but this is a fight that makes the most sense. This is the fight I want to see the most too. I want to see Islam fight an undefeated fighter. I like when Islam takes away the win streaks. Okay, satisfying. It's so good to see. This is the fight to go for. This is the fight that people want to see. This is the fight that everybody actually wants to see. And it's like the hardest fight in the division right now. Islam is going to be way underweight compared to Morales. Morales is like in the 200s. Heaviest in the division. This would be the most competitive fight in the division right now. Hardest fight in the division right now. I think Malcolm Morales versus Islam is the best fight you can make in this division at the moment since Shavkat's out. If Shavkat was not, I think Shavkat's the hardest one. But Shavkat, his knees are not kneeing. So next, JDM versus Ian Gary. Number 1, JDM. Number 2, I think, is Ian Gary. Or number 3 is Ian Gary. Good fight to make. Great fight to make for the fighters. Competitive. This is a coin flip. JDM still has underrated hands. People are like, just because he got destroyed by Islam does not mean he's not good. He's super good. And I feel like he was showed against Ian Gary fight. Next. Practice versus Kamaru Usman. I don't want Kamaru Usman to get a title shot. Oh my God. I don't want Usman to get a title shot right away. I need him to fight one more fight. Just one more fight. I'm not asking for too much. Okay, just one more top five fight protest. I feel like this is the easiest fight for Usman too. This is the easiest fight. I feel like Kamaru Usman destroys Protest easy. I don't. I think Protest is so overrated. I don't know how people like are actually obsessed with him. Right? I think Kamaru Usman gets this win easy. I think Kamaru Usman actually beats Protest, Ian Gary, and I would say maybe JDM. Like he's right for, like I would say he's one of the hardest fights. Top three, I would say Shavkat Morales and Usman's the hardest fight for Islam, but people are not seeing that because Usman's not, he just lost to Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards at age is losing so badly. So we'll see what that fight goes. But I think Usman nonetheless needs one more fight before the fight. I think Practice is a good fight for that. Next, Bilal versus Buckley. I would like Bilal versus Usman, but Usman's not going to take that fight. He denied that fight many times in the water break. I think Buckley's the next picker. It's still going to be up in the rankings, so Buckley is going to take that fight. Buckley deserves to be fighting down the rankings, but I feel like he's going to talk his way into fighting someone upper. Bilal Muhammad, he's going to pick that fight. Bilal Muhammad is going to get that win. I feel like Bilal Muhammad beats Buckley too. Next, Brady versus Bonfim. Brady's on a fight skid. Bonfim's on a fight win streak. Let's do this. Let's get this fight going. Both fighters are dominant. Well, not Brady, but Bonfim's dominant. Brady is choking hard. He needs a realignment. Bonfim, I feel like that's the fight to make. You want to get these. If a fighter's losing, throw him in the deepest. Recycle. You can't play favoritism. Okay, this is about being the best of the best. Not, I want to be built up and now, bro. If you miss it, you miss it. Not my problem. Kobe, but Kobe. That's why I'm dual top. Sorry, bro. You're getting sent to the shadow realm. That's why I'm dual top is going to knock you out and mog over you. Next, Leon Edwards versus Burns. Great bet fight. Leon Edwards is still above Gilbert Burns in the rankings. But Leon Edwards is on a huge fight losing streak. This is the fight to make. Daniel Rodriguez versus Yarsolov. Get Yarsolov in there, bro. Huge, a beautiful finish against Neil Magny. Get him in there. Just throw him inside the rankings. It's so easy. Just throw these big names in the rankings. Keep it fresh. Keep it active. Keep it hyped up. That's what you want with all these rankings. You don't want to just we're getting fed the same slop over and over again. It's like that one blue alien. We just that one meme where they're just getting that orange slop put on them, and the guy just got concerned. Yeah, that's what's happening right now with us. These are the fights we're making welterweight. We got Islam versus Morales, JDM versus Ian Gary, Practice versus Usman, Bilal versus Buckley, Brady versus Bonfim, Colby versus Dulatov, Leon versus Burns, Daniel Rodriguez versus Yaslov. Let's do it. Let's get it. This is welterweight. Easy. Next, middleweight. Jeez. Next, Hamza versus Imavov. Obvious fight that needs to be made next. Hopefully they don't screw this up. But this is the best fight to make right now. Most competitive fight right now. Let's just get this fight. I want this to be in, I will say, April. That'll be a good fight, April, May. Next, DDP versus Brendan Allen. This is a no-brainer fight to have. Both hate each other. Both want this fight. I don't know if DDP wants this fight. Who cares? Throw him in. Great fight to also put on the White House card. We'll get to that because I'm making the White House card, so we'll see how that goes. But next, Jared Cannonier versus Ikram Iskalov. Throw it back, give Ikram another chance to be in the rankings or, up in there with a bigger opponent. Get him bigger names, get him more in there. This is the fight to do it. This is the fight to have. Next, Robert Whitaker versus Bruno Fiera. So sorry, Rob. I'm so sorry. But you got to show people why you're the Reaper, okay? If you can't take a Bruno Ferrer, I'm so sorry, bro. Bruno Ferrer will kick you out. But I believe in Rob. I believe he needs If he still wants to be in the division, he needs to fight. He needs to defend his ranking against a big opponent. Bunafera is that big opponent. If he wants to move up in light heavyweight, I know he's talking about that. We'll see where that goes. But right now, you're in the middleweight division. Right now, you can be fighting Bunafera. Makes sense for the rankings. Makes sense for the UFC. Makes sense for me. No. Atiba Gutierrez versus Kevin Gastelum. Give Atiba a big name. Kevin Gastelum is that big name. Build these fighters up in the unranked with these big names, and then throw them in the deep end. Atiba versus Kevin Gastelum. Marvin Vettori versus Mansour Abdul Malik. Same thing. Mansour, great win streak, powerhouse, strong hands. Marvin Vettori, granite chin, never gets knocked out, never gets finished. Oh, okay. Well, you know what I mean. This dude, granite chin. Let's put it to the test against Mansour Abdul Malik. This is the fight to make. This is fight I want to see. You got to build these upcomer prospects with these unranked big names. If they're unranked and big names, use them. Build these up and use them as a stepping stone. Next, Bo Nickel versus Shara the Bullet. Both want this fight. Both been calling for this fight. They're making it for you right there. Easy fight to make. This would be fun as hell to watch. I would be sad for this. Next, Jacob Malkoun versus Bansur Shukskayev. Beautiful fight because Jacob Malkoun is on a hype right now because of that amazing performance he had. Shukskayev, he's already hyped. Let's steal more hype from all these other prospects. Get higher up there. Shukskayev, this will be a great stepping stone for Shukskayev. Get up higher up in the rankings. Build a bigger name for yourself. I'm doing this job for them, for these matchmakers. Okay, we got Hamza versus Imavov, DDP versus Brendan Allen, Gary Cannonier versus Ikram, Robert versus Bruno, Atiba versus Kevin, Marvin versus Mansour, Bo versus Shara, Jacob versus Shukskayev. That's the middleweight division. Last but not least, light heavyweight, because I'm not going to do no damn heavyweight division. That division is dead. Let it die. Next, Alex Pereira versus Carlos Ulberg. Ulberg deserves it. Give it to Ulberg. Not no brain science. Ank versus Yuri. This is the fight that makes the most sense as well. Okay, don't give Yuri a third shot. You got knocked out twice. At least Ank is one-on-one with Alex. Do Ank versus Yuri. Easy fight to make. Easy fight. Easiest fight to make right now in the division. Next, Khalil versus Azamat. Makes sense for the rankings. Makes sense for the fighters. Jan versus Volkan Ozdemir. Makes sense for the rankings. Makes sense for the fighters. Makes sense for the matchups from this fight. Jamal versus Bogdan Guskov. Jamal's on a losing streak. Bogdan Guskov just had a draw. Easy fight to make. Easy fight to make. Rakic versus Dustin Jacoby. Dustin Jacoby had a great performance. Rakic is having terrible performances. Match them up. Get the division moving. Zhang versus Iwo. Zhang just had a terrible performance. Okay, Iwo has had amazing performances. Iwo fights again, I think, on Saturday. He wins that fight. Book him Zhang after this. Just throw these fighters in there. Okay, we don't want to wait a year for them to be in the rankings. Throw them in now. Okay. Krylov versus Abdul Rahman. Makes sense though, rankings. And for the hype. Okay? You gotta get these older fighters out, bring these newer fighters in. We gotta update these rankings. We can't have just old heads always in there. Abdul Rahman, welcome to the UFC. There you go. These are all my picks. We got for light heavyweight, Alex Pereira versus Carlos Ulberg, Anka versus Yuri, Khalil versus Azamat, Jan versus Ozdemir, Jamal Hill versus Bogdan, Rakic versus Dustin Jacoby, Zhang versus Iwo, Krylov versus Abdul Rahman. These are all my picks for flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, and light heavyweight. I hope you enjoyed this video of me playing Matchmaker. Let me know what you want to see else. Let me know what you think about the video. Comment, like, subscribe, share the video. Thank you so much for coming on the journey. Have a good one. And if I could, there we go. Have a good one.